Crypto markets have just started a mini bull case run. Now, if you have been in crypto within the last 2 to 4 years, you have seen the pumps, you've seen the dumps, you've seen the rug pulls, you've seen big corporations falling down, and you've seen a bunch of fake outs. And today, we are going to focus on if this was a signal of a bull market rally or if it was just a pump fake. Bitcoin is sitting well over 21,000. Ethereum is sitting well over 1,500. Over the past 7 days, we have seen a 22% increase in Bitcoin, an 18% increase in Ethereum, and we've also seen other altcoins like Ripple, Cardano, and Polygon pump well over 10%. This is almost like 2021. Every day we saw about 10-15% increases within the weeks. We saw huge pumps, and it seems like we back on signal to indicate another mini bull run. Now, I'm going to show you a couple data points that I found that could have started this mini bull run scenario in the beginning of 2023. FTX collapse, crypto giants recover over $5 billion of assets. An attorney of FTX told U.S. bankruptcy judge John Dorsey that they have located over $5 billion of cash, liquid cryptocurrency, and liquid investment securities. He also noted that the recovered funds do not include assets seized by the Securities of the Bahamas, where FTX was based and where Mr. SBF was living at the time during his arrest. Now, if this is true, this is great news for crypto. Even though that this case may drag out to be a long time, we have some hopes that maybe our users can recover some of the funds that were lost. And obviously, investors will get paid out first. But there are some skeptics behind this claim, as we have Twitter private investigators checking all of FTX's wallets and tracking everything and saying that they basically could not find proof of this $5 billion of assets that the attorney does claim that they have recovered. On January 13th, we had over 2,700 million in Bitcoin options that were going to expire. This looked like a short squeeze, as if Bitcoin pushed past $18,000 as it did here, the bulls would gain $130 million in profits. We can also see here that between 16,000 and 16,500, there were 100 calls versus 2,700 puts. This was a huge net favor for the bears. Bitcoin was able to push past that and level the playing field out between 16,500 and 17,500 with 1,400 calls and 1,500 puts. Pushing past 17,500 marked a big mini bull case run for Bitcoin as the calls outweighed all the puts. In the past 3 to 4 days, we have seen a total of $300 million in liquidations of shorts as Bitcoin hit over 21,000. This set an 18-month record in liquidations. And when the whole FTX sham went down, right, we hit bottom lows for Ethereum at around $800 and $900 before bouncing back to $1,100 to $1,200. What's funny about that on Twitter is that after we hit this bottom and bounce back up, we still see a lot of bear market enthusiasts saying that we're going to hit another 3 digits. Now, this was of course not the case because FTX going down was literally a black swan event, something that was not calculated. For us to hit back down to mid-high 3 digits for Ethereum is going to take another black swan event, and hopefully that will not come. Now, El Salvador passes the landmark crypto bill paving way for Bitcoin-backed bonds. This was known as the Volcano Bond that will be used to pay down sovereign debt and fund the construction of its proposed Bitcoin city. The new legislation also creates something called the National Digital Assets Commission. It's basically a regulating agency in charge of applying security laws, regulating crypto, protecting the rights of digital assets purchasers, as well as issuers in El Salvador. Now, we're going to have countries from all over the world watching El Salvador pave the way because there are going to be mistakes made. And everyone's going to be watching because regulations are coming. It's also a fun note to mention that Jim Cramer urged investors frequently to exit crypto and that it's never too late to sell. And if you've been in the space long enough, you know usually whatever Jim Cramer says, it goes the opposite way. Now, a huge data point came out on January 6, 2023, and this was the non-farm payrolls, NFP, okay? This was a huge event that dictated what will happen in quarter one of January and February of 2023. NFP, non-farm payrolls, measures the change in the number of people employed in the previous months, excluding the farming industry. Job creation is the largest indicator of consumer spending, which accounts for a lot of economic activity because that's basically how consumers spend, how the world works, and the Fed really looks at this data. Now, wage growth is very important as rates directly impact the markets. The forecast for December was expected to be 200,000, and we were a little bit over, which was 223,000. Thankfully, that was still lower than the previous month of November at 256,000. A key point to wage growth is that you wanted to see under 100,000 to negative, because this is an indicator for the Fed to start thinking about slowing down rates. And as you can see here, from 200,000 to 100,000, we still have a long way to go. Now, this outcome for the NFP shows that the Fed will still be hiking basis points, most likely in February, with another 25 BPS in the next FOMC meeting. This data overall was slightly mixed, but leaning towards the bullish side because we did see a drop. This honestly, I think, did spark the mini bull run as traders and people were starting to think like, okay, wage growth is dropping. There is a possible chance that rates will stop and slow down soon. In the long term, of course, it's going to slow down, but this was a good indicator. Now, a really big point that I think marked the mini bull run was the CPI that did come out. This was able to push Bitcoin past $20,000. CPI captures the price across a basket of consumer goods and services, and it fell a 0.1%. I know this may not seem big, and the core CPI, which excludes food and energy, rose a 0.3%, also in lines with estimates. Over the last 12 months through December, the index rose 5.7%. In November, those figures were 0.2% and 6% respectively. Now, the main cause that made the CPI drop was in the energy and gasoline sector. The prices at the pump tumbled a 9.4% for the month and are now down to 1.5% from a year ago after surging past $5 a gallon in mid-2022. Now, what does this all CPI stuff mean? CPI dropping is good news, but our core CPI did rise. Though this is good news, there is still risk ahead. It is not clear coast, rainbows and sunshines yet, okay? This doesn't solidify that inflation is coming down, but it does show that interest rate hikes will come down a little bit. Now, some news to go over that we should be covering in crypto that you need to be aware of. Gemini and Genesis standing on legal troubles that may shake up the industry further. So keep your eye out on this if you are invested. On January 12th, SEC charges Genesis and Gemini with allegedly selling unregistered securities as part of the earn offering. On a brighter note, Solana regains the number 10 spot, passing Polygon. Now, the pump originally started with Vitalik, founder of Ethereum, giving his roses to Solana as he even recognizes that this chain has a bright future. LG Electronics, big tech company, has entered the space with their smart TVs. Their latest partnership is planning to bring the metaverse to your TV. Soon, LG smart TVs will allow you to experience virtual concerts and AI generative multiplayer games. NFTs, on the other hand, you see that US election agencies approve the use of NFTs as a campaign fundraising incentive. And I am super bullish on NFTs, not because of the copy and save JPEGs, but because of the utility it's bringing onto the world. And it's only a matter of time where every ticket, contract, membership, house land title, or anything in between that causes friction becomes an NFT. China launches their first national NFT marketplace in 2023. And according to the report, the platform is operated on the China Cultural Protection Chain. This is the first sign of hope. We see a massive economy adopting crypto. Fidelity Giant plans NFT marketplace and financial services in the metaverse. As crazy as it sounds, the investment giant has filed trademark applications in the US for Web3 products and services, including non-fungible tokens. This is kind of crazy because if you think about it, imagine putting on a virtual headset, buying mutual funds, or getting financial planning advices, or even paying your electrical bill payments. A couple thoughts starting Q1 of 2023. Everything that comes out of Jerome Powell's mouth affects the market drastically. He is literally the most important man in America right now. And like I said before, wage growth is all that matters now. And if the wage growth data drives lower, this is a very, very good sign. So be on the lookout for that. Do I think we are close to the bottom? I don't think that we are going to see another lower bottom. Are we close to the bottom? I don't think that Ethereum is going to see another $800 low and Bitcoin hitting another $15,000 low, but there is still risk ahead. I do think we're going to see major pullbacks, and without another Black Swan event, I don't think we're going to see lower lows of what we previously saw before year's end. Ladies and gentlemen, one thing to note is that Powell needs to be in agreement that the labor is weakening and showing confidence that the inflation is coming down for all of us to really go all in. Do you think the markets will be choppy for the next 2 to 3 months? Do I think we're entering a full-fledged bull market? No. Not yet. It's going to be a long stretched out time of maybe 12 to 24 months before we see some crazy pumps. Should you start investing back into crypto? I think it is a good time if you do see a large pullback and dip within the crypto economy to invest a little bit back in, because it's going to go up. Bitcoin is here to stay. Ethereum is here to stay. The Pandora box has been opened and it's not going to be closed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all it is for this video. If you want more business and crypto news, give me a follow down below. As always, take care, guys. Peace.